Welcome back to the Formula One save. Yes, the last one was unorthodox, to say the least, when we went through the motions of going through things in Miami, only to retire on lap 3 with a gearbox failure. So we did the practice and qualifying for Imola in the last episode, so do check that if you missed it. Today's episode will be solely the Grand Prix around the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix circuit. Imola is a phenomenal track. We love it. We qualified on pole, and we'll hopefully have a chance of doing something in the race. A race that will start dry and end wet. So chaos may well ensue as well. I hope that it's going to be an enjoyable one. I've done a few laps around Imola on time trial just to warm myself up again, but 63 laps around this fantastic circuit will be a lot of fun. Do drop the video a like if you're enjoying the save. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more. We're loving life at Aston Martin so far, and hopefully that good feeling will continue throughout the course of this Grand Prix and lead us towards some more World Championship points. We haven't yet nailed a podium in Racing Green. We've finished 5th and 4th and retired and had a dead one in Australia, but can we finally step on one of those steps? Time to head to the racetrack. So to refresh your memories, the qualifying went very well for us. We are on pole by less than 0.03 of a second. Lewis Hamilton in second alongside us. I'm not sure if anyone's taken any penalties, actually. Myself and Lewis were a couple of tenths ahead of everybody else, and significantly further ahead of a number further back than that. Max only P10, Sainz and Perez P11 and 12. It was an indifferent session for a number of different drivers, but obviously we're hoping to put in a fantastic performance here and get ourselves a strong result. The weather will make things difficult. There's a mixture of softs and mediums and hards throughout the grid. So what we do strategically, I have absolutely no idea. My tyre wear here is a lot higher than anticipated. So if I go soft and then medium, or if I go soft, my softs won't last very long at all. So I might be tempted to go... In fact, I could... To ensure I get a soft stint in, I probably should go softs, right? I could go medium to the rain, but I might be able to make soft medium last until the rain. And if I get a soft stint in, then at least I've done some soft running, because we are going to end wet. So I would be tempted, actually, to change that to go soft, medium, and maybe we might find ourselves with the capability of being able to go a little bit further in the Grand Prix on that second set of mediums and make it work. I'll try anyway. Fuel-wise, we should be good because of the rain coming at the end, so I'll take some fuel out. Hopefully the extra weight saving will do us a favour. So we'll go and warm these new soft tyres up, and then fingers crossed the rain comes about 20 laps into our medium stint would be perfect. Coming onto the grid then, you'll notice that I'm driving with medium tyres right now. We've done the start once and had tyre temp issues, so we've restarted. We've changed tyre pressures and put mediums on to try and avoid that issue. It's just an ABS on controller issue, unfortunately, that makes tyres hot at certain circuits at times, under certain fuel loads and weather conditions. Lots of different parameters, but starting on the medium tyre, with a lot of soft runners and hard runners behind us, this is going to be a tough Grand Prix. I'm going to try and defend the inside here. Lewis had a pretty poor start. George is getting antsy. He's going to go for the outside. He's on those soft tyres. He's hit me there. George on soft tyres is going to be very fast. I will be keeping a keen eye on my tyre temperatures in these opening few laps. George has then hit me again there, coming through that part of the track. He's going to need to be a little bit more careful with his front wing if he's going to be that aggressive. Hopefully we don't have any tyre temp issues and we will be okay. George thinking about again having a look and deciding against it. Everybody through this time. No pitters. George going for it. I will get my elbows out. This is for the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm just going to move aside for George. It's Aston Martin from Mercedes, McLaren at the moment. Has George got problems? George on a bit of a go slow. I think George has got damage. I'm going to have a quick look. Yeah, no visible damage on George's car. Unless he's got floor damage. He's just dropping time at the minute. We will enjoy the reprieve for about the half lap we'll have. He's slow around the corners, George. It doesn't look like he has any visible damage, but I'll ask about the driver behind, and we'll see if he says he's got floor damage or anything. Lewis is going to take him here.
Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. Your last lap time was a 1:22.2.
Okay, so they're not saying that Russell has any damage, but he is definitely struggling around the corners. Lewis has taken him and will now subsequently drop him and storm up to the back of me. George Russell is struggling for whatever reason. Not sure what that reason might be at this stage. Lewis is just chunking time out of me. DRS is active now. So Lewis will probably be past me unless I'm able to use a bit of battery to hold position. Oh, I wonder whether these tyres are hot as well at the minute, you know. They're on the bubble. We're alright for the time being, tyre temp wise. That Mercedes with DRS is beyond fast. Want me to stop lap 21. Russell's still holding on to P3 at the minute. This is Lewis's lead in weight, I think. Who was that? Daniel Ricciardo pit the first time we did this. It's Valtteri Bottas this time around, pitting for a new front wing on lap 3. Sergio Perez has had a warning for a collision with Charles Leclerc. Max started 10th and is up to 9th so far. 1, 2, 3, 4 still in the original order at the moment. Daniel Ricciardo dropping back a couple of places, but he's an Alfa Romeo on hard tyres. There's no surprises there. And then all the medium runners are just a little bit further back. And Valtteri, his race is ruined already unless there's a safety car. This is probably pointless trying to fight this. I'll just save my battery. We're trading fastest laps at the minute, myself and Lewis Hamilton. He's going to take the lead here. Piastri's just gotten past. Piastri is now past George Russell. And we will have DRS. Good. Just going to try and stick with Lewis now. Purple sector 3.
Okay, so we're leading our team.
Where is high though? I imagine Russell has damage, but it wasn't telling me anything about it. He's holding everybody up. Even Tsunoda's past Russell now. He's tumbling. It's brightening up. Look, the sun is coming out. Which is going to warm the track up and affect tyre temps. Especially as they get worried already. You can see the front right is up at 105 there. Let me take these to lap 21. I'm going to put mediums on again for the next one, unless they say something about weather. So for lap 21, these tyres are going to be in the mud. It might be that Piastri's hards start to come into play. Obviously, my tyre wear around here is higher compared to the AI by about... Was it about 20%, I think? Judging by the practice programme. Doesn't bode that particularly well. Norris is through behind, well spotted. Lando Norris past Oscar Piastri now. So the McLaren on softs is surely going to pull away from the McLaren on hards. And now's where we're going to have to be looking over our shoulder again a little bit as we get further and further into this stint. Not only is the gap going to close, but because of the tyre he's on, he's probably going to undercut me as well. Our ability to stay on the podium is going to be significantly under threat from both McLarens today. Russell's just falling further and further and further back. Both McLarens now under 4 seconds. My tyres are about to hit, if not have already hit, the 25% margin. 22% on the front right. We're very nearly there. The tyre drop-off's about to hit me, and then pace will significantly deteriorate. Lando's already closing quite considerably already. Piastri's back through. It's hard to keep track of at just a glance when you don't really get that much of a moment's notice around Imola, apart from this straight. So Oscar Piastri back ahead of Lando Norris now. 7/10-ish between them as they come onto this DRS straight. We'll see if Lando can get himself back past. Doesn't look like he's going to. It's bloody close though. They got within a tenth of a second of each other and are still within a tenth of a second of each other. Fuel is alright. Fuel is good so far. I'm happy with fuel, especially considering we're going to have some wet weather running as well. Lewis is loving life out front right now. Couldn't have asked for a better start to the Grand Prix for him. Lando's going to get through again. There's no doubt about that here. Norris back past his teammate. Those McLarens are hammer and tongs at it behind me. If they work together, then they could both be battling for P2 and 3 rather than 3 and 4, but team orders not existing at McLaren at the moment, which is letting me stay where I am. And Lewis continually just pulls away in front, probably saving tyres, saving fuel, putting him in a very, very comfortable position. If there's a safety car at any point now, and I think a lot of drivers would probably stop. Lando's not far away from a stop, I wouldn't imagine, on those softs now. Got a decent gap back to the AlphaTauri of Tsunoda, but as it stands, if I pit, I will come out 19th, which is basically between the Alpine in current 19th and the Alfa Romeo all the way back there, so I would lose so much time by boxing now. Hopefully everyone else boxes about the same time as me. Oscar Piastri back through against his teammate. They are closing, but nowhere near as much as they could if they just worked together. Soft runners are boxing. At the end of 16, the soft runners are in, so Lando's boxed, which is going to free up Oscar Piastri to just come at me now. We're boxing in 4 laps time. And I'm probably going to go to another set of mediums, to be honest. I've been comfortable in P2 till this point, but now Oscar is going to chew away at that time. George Russell is now officially running dead last, having changed his tyres and presumably front wing at the same time. Yeah, Russell in on 15 to go to mediums and get a front wing change. We couldn't see any damage on it, could we, when we looked, but evidently there was some damage. So, if it weren't for the weather, the hard runners are looking to one-stop this Grand Prix. That's intriguing. So Piastri's not going to be boxing for a long time. But given the nature of when the rain is coming, I don't know if that's actually going to work in his favour or not. If those of us that are pitting earlier have to make a second stop for dry tyres before it rains, then yes, that will absolutely work into Oscar Piastri's favour. But if we don't, I'm not sure it will. He did lose some time on that lap, about half a second, so he's obviously made a mistake somewhere. But we all have them in us. I make numerous a lap, and there goes that half second I had previously built up. So that's good, isn't it? Back to, oh my god, he's flying. I think he's in this lap. They tend to do this, don't they? They use a lot of battery on their in lap. I think Lewis is doing the same. I think Piastri and Lewis Hamilton are in this lap. Surely, if he's one-stopping... Max Verstappen out of the session. Max is retiring. Why is he retiring? A Red Bull out. That's Max. Engine. Right in the face of Daniel Ricciardo. Max Verstappen's going to retire. Oh, and then he hits Daniel Ricciardo as well. Danny, I think, gets away with no damage there. That won't be a safety car, but I might box this lap. Lewis is staying out. Okay. And Piastri does too. I genuinely thought they were going to be in there because Piastri took a whole second out of me and I didn't think I made a second's worth of mistakes in the first sector last lap. Oh, I might have done. Evidently, I just made sizable mistakes.
Okay, clear.
We will box this lap for another set of mediums though. We're going to go medium, medium, and hopefully that will take us to the rain. These tyres are pushing 40% on the front. Alright, come on. Let's get in, good stop, get out, and then hopefully the rain will come about lap 35? Maybe later than that. Lewis is in. And Oscar's doing the same. So he's one stopping, he's going to go hard medium. Lewis has gone medium, medium, I think, maybe. I think Lewis is going to go medium, medium, soft. I'm anticipating, and Piastri has indeed gone to medium tyres.
Go, go. Perfect job.
Now Ricciardo's going long on those hards, and he's now taking the lead. Daniel Ricciardo in the Alpha Tauri takes the lead. It's such a long pit stop here, I forgot about that. So maybe a one stop is the right way to go. That's Lando Norris undercutting quite considerably. Although his tyres are now, oh god, 7 laps old. And here comes Piastri. I'm going to try and stick with the McLaren. I need to concentrate and not lose too much time. Get these tyres up to temperature. And now we just wait for the rain and hope that it comes before we need to pit again. Could just stick with Piastri. Norris has gone hards. Just noticed. Lando Norris has gone soft hard. That will take him to the rain for sure. Come on then, Oscar. I might just sit behind Oscar Piastri, you know. Play the long game here. Try and work with him. Not do what he and Lando did behind me. We'll just stick with him and close in on Lando Norris. That's the plan. We'll try and utilise Piastri's pace and work it against his teammate. This is going to work in catching and passing Lando Norris.
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
There you go. 10 to 15 minutes for the rain.
Okay, the car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap starting to form.
It might be slightly longer than that, but it should come, provided it's hard enough, it should come before we pit for another set of dry tyres. Now we have an idea of when the rain's coming, and we are working with Oscar Piastri to close in on his teammate here. This is coming back to us, this Grand Prix now. Oh, Ricciardo in the pits. I was like, hang on, what?
Piastri has just set the fastest
Ricciardo in the pits. So we're back up to P4. And we've halved the gap to Lando Norris already in just two or three laps. Lewis is gone unless there's a safety car. Oscar is going to be in the position this lap, though, to get DRS off his teammate. Lando's vulnerable. Very vulnerable. So Lewis Hamilton now pumps in the fastest lap of the race without DRS. Oscar's going to be through. They might slow each other up through the first corner, though, which would help me close a bit more. Right, I cannot let Oscar Piastri get away here. I'm going to shut up and drive.
Hamilton has just put in the fastest lap of the race so far.
No, he hasn't. Piastri just did. Oh, mate. No, I don't want any of that.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 26.3 seconds.
Tyres are cooler this time around as well, which is helping because the fuel is lower. I didn't want to get involved in that with Lando Norris at turn 1. That had horrendous accident written all over it. Definitely struggling in the dirty air of Lando Norris a little bit.
Battery charge is high. Let's use
I know.
that overtake button a bit more.
He might not have DRS here. He does just. Son of a bitch. Bye, Lando. Had to make that move. Had to make that move. Piastri was starting to get away down the road. Back within DRS range of Oscar Piastri. That's why saving battery behind Piastri and Lando Norris really worked in our favour. And Lando already 1.7 seconds behind. Those hard tyres are not working for Lando Norris here. It's a poor decision to have gone onto them. Now we're just waiting for the rain. I set the fastest lap of the race. Lewis, 11 seconds down the road, though. Now, again, I think I might be quite happy for the time being to sit behind Piastri and just continue to gap Lando and ensure that we get a podium here today. But I am going to have to make sure that I stick with Oscar Piastri to do that. So, shutting up and driving again. My main priority now is gapping Lando, not overtaking Oscar. They said 50. They said 10 to 15. Then they said 10. Now they're saying 15 again. The rain is not going to be here that soon. We're going to have to take... This is why I'm trying to gap Lando.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10
It's still a while away. It's going to be about when our next pit stop is. Oscar went super defensive there. I wasn't intending on overtaking him, but he kind of made up my mind for me there by getting out of the way. Alright. As long as we can still gap Lando, that's fine. I don't mind leading, but I'd rather be following. To be fair, I'll just save battery, and then I will be following next lap, because he'll take me again with DRS. Cloud cover is starting to come back, though. The sun broke through, but the rain is going to win out. It's fine. Again, don't mind, so long as the gap to Lando's growing, which it is. And crucially at the minute, if it were to rain, and we were to change tyres, Lando is close enough to Oscar that they'd end up double stacking. So he'd either double stack and lose time in the pits, or do an extra lap and lose time that way, being on the wrong tyre in the wrong conditions. Those that went soft are going to come unstuck with the rain. There might be some big margins in gas. I mean, look at the mini map. The whole field is spread out throughout the course of the whole track right now. Because strategies are all over the place. Some haven't predicted the... Well, in fact, I don't think the AI at all factors in the fact that there is rain coming. They just have a dry start and they're like, oh, okay, so we'll run a full dry strategy then. It's like, well, there is rain coming, you know. And they're like, no, we'll go soft. We'll do a second pit stop, put some medium or hard tyres on and go to the end. It's like, well, the weather has other ideas. Still happy to continue to just gap Lando, so I'm not going to attack Oscar again. Lando now 4.5 seconds behind. Gap's growing nicely. Gap to Lewis is still getting bigger and bigger. I think that's Carlos Sainz in the pits, is it? It is indeed. I think he's gone soft as well. If the rain comes before lap 40, then I'm actually quite happy. I am going to put some extra front wing in when the rain comes. That's my teammate Lance in the pits as well. We currently have 36 front wing. Well, I'm probably going to up that to about 38 or 39 when the rain comes. Lando's boxing. What? Lando's pitting. Oh, forget this then. I'm going past Piastri and I'm going to try and build a gap. Lando's in the box. Terrible strategy from McLaren. That just shows that the AI don't factor in the weather conditions. It is going to rain in 5 minutes' time, and Lando's like, now I'm going to box for new dries now. That's something that needs to be altered. in future iterations of the game, IMO. Right, I'm going to use the DRS to overtake, and then I'm going to try and use the ERS to get away, putting a squeeze on a little bit.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
Oscar's fighting back. He's given up. Left him racing room. Can I get that over a second? I might. Oh my god, we've got him out of DRS range and all sorts. It won't last very long because he'll just get it back down this next straight, but I'm going to use a bit of battery here. Try and... Oh, I had a terrible exit though. Extend the gap. Which we are doing. Oh my god! Right, I need to nail every lap until the rain now. 25% wear on the tyres. Rain is imminent. Lando sets the fastest lap of the race.
Put in the fastest lap of the race so far.
It's getting very dark very quick. The rain is going to come very soon, I think. Got a wonderful gap behind Piastri back to Sergio Perez. Gap to Lewis is stable at the minute, but that's mainly because he's lapping traffic and the raindrops are now falling. So the question is, how quick is it going to dry? Sorry, how quick is it going to wet the track? And how soon are we going to be on to intermediate tyres? Losing grip significantly. We might even be onto intermediate tyres this lap. It's not. We are not going to be long for Inters though, I think, if it keeps raining like this. I'm getting particles on the screen now and all sorts.
Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
Nobody's in yet. I'm sorely tempted, but I won't, purely because of tyre temp issues.
Okay, mate, don't worry about
Oh, you're going to do that to me as I cross the line.
Check your MFD.
Son of a bitch.
Got that confirmed.
That's got to be a bug. It waited until I was just past the pits and then told me to pit on the previous lap. I said put Inters on lap 38. It's triggered that MFD change too late. Well, it's intermediate tyres this lap then. And those behind are going to get an advantage because we're going to be on dry tyres on a, well, now quite frankly, wet track for a full extra lap.
The tyre situation's pretty touch and go.
It's not touch and go.
The slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close. And you're going to
DRS disabled.
The Inters are ready for whenever you need them.
Now, please. Inters now, please. Inters last lap, please. Intermediate tyres, put them on me. Oscar and I are the last two cars on track to change tyre compound. Team are ready for me though. Extra few ticks of front wing.
Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect job.
And hopefully,
there, mate. Looks like a nice
this
stop
is a
time.
podium at the least for us. A P3 at the least. But it's now basically a straight fight between me and Piastri.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
For who finishes in P2. Now is where the tyre temperature thing is going to come back into it. I hope that tyre temps don't overheat too much. But they might. I've got the inside line. Oscar's fighting hard, but I've got the inside line.
The rain's getting worse. Be very careful.
Okay. Could we be going to hard, wet tyres before the end? Temps, be kind to me, please. Now's where my running a slightly higher downforce setup might actually come in handy. If it weren't for Oscar, I'd be proper no man's land with 20 seconds to Lewis and 15.5 to Sergio Perez behind. Lando's race is absolutely ruined with that pit strategy. Temps are okay at the moment, but they are getting warmer lap by lap. Want to stay in the late 80s if possible. Temps seem to be okay. They've stabilised. At the moment, we are very comfortable in P2. Gap to Oscar Piastri is...
Okay, I know these conditions look pretty terrible, but that water is draining okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Intermediate is going to stay the tyre of choice for a while yet.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that it's going to dry out. The only question would be, is it going to get wetter? The last two tiles on the forecast were wet and wetter still. So I anticipate, if anything, if there is to be a tyre change of some description, it will be us going to wet tyres, full wet tyres to the end rather than intermediates to another set of dries. It is a lonely drive in the wet, but if it's a lonely drive in the wet for P2, not really that bothered. Oh, hello. Might not be that lonely if we keep doing that. It's going to cost me at least a second, if not more. Can't keep your wits about you in the rain. Might have a comfortable gap in front and behind, but it can disappear in but a moment. I think it still enters the better, but it's only going to get wetter between now and the end, I think. I wonder whether... I mean, these Inter tyres have still got a long way to go, and they're 8% worn. I don't think it's worth stopping again. I don't think everyone will stop again, but I wouldn't be surprised if some did.
We're starting to reach the point where you're going to start aquaplaning with those tyres. We think you're alright for now, but it might not be long before we switch to the full wet.
Okay. So, we might take another twist. We might end up going to full wets before the end.
Okay, listen, don't worry about it, mate. It can happen to the best.
We're going to full wets. We're going to wets. We get around here. That is going to recommend switching to the full wet weather tyre.
Confirmed.
Question is, do I? Others are. Do I or do I not? Lewis is in. Everyone's in. Do I go to wets or do we try and stick out on an Inter? Lance better be out from his stop pretty bloody sharpish. Otherwise we're going to end up double stacking here. That's cost me a little bit.
Right, let's go. Come on.
Thankfully not enough to get Piastri past me. But I think Lance might have had a wing change there. It was a long stop. No wing change, but it did seem like a long stop. It's going to cost us a few tenths, but we are still going to be P2 as we come out the pits on the wet weather tyres. I was wondering whether I could have maybe stuck it out on the Inters through this period, but it probably wasn't worth the risk. We had the gap behind to Perez that we could have at least gotten a podium if we tried to stay out and it turned out to be the wrong call. But we probably would have thrown away a P2.
The rain's going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
Yeah, there's not much grip out here at the minute, pal.
Here's some information on Russell for you.
Oh, don't.
Issue with their car, they're going to be slow.
George has had a nightmare. Wing damage early on in the race. Threw him backwards through the field. He's fought valiantly to get himself back up to P5. Has got to be fair to him a bit of a gap back to the Ferrari and the rest of that gaggle where Daniel Ricciardo is. But with 3 laps to go, he's now got an issue with his car. Is he going to make it to the end? in P5, or are they going to catch him behind? Is a Ferrari going to get to him and steal away some more points? So final lap of the race begins. It's been intermediate conditions for about 7 or 8 laps now. But there just wouldn't have been a point in stopping because you wouldn't make the time back again. It's half a minute back to George Russell in P5 at the minute, who is getting chased down with an issue with his car by a Ferrari, but I think he'll probably have enough in the tank to be able to make it. Oh, I don't know. That Ferrari is quite close. George probably holds on to P5, but it might be a straight run to the line. Wait and see if the Ferrari can get him. Lewis has bossed his Grand Prix from start to finish. Once he worked his way past me at the beginning, there was no catching him. We had quite the battle with both McLarens for a while. And then when Lando's pit strategy worked very heavily against him, it just kind of threw him all the way down the order. Russell picked up damage. That threw him all the way down the order. And then myself and Oscar Piastri have just battled with one another throughout the course of this Grand Prix. We've been as close as a few tenths. We've swapped positions back and forth. But at the end of the Grand Prix, we are going to have opened up about a 5.5 second gap. So a very well earned, a very hard fought in difficult conditions. First podium for Aston Martin. That's a P2. And we'll be very, very, very pleased with it indeed. A 5th, a 4th, and now a 2nd. A race win might not be that far away. We are going to need some tracks that suit our car a bit better. Some not quite so long, straighty, AI, straight line, speed, OPE tracks. But we'll shake the bottle. We'll shake the bottle. We're very happy indeed to have a podium. Lance got a podium in Miami last time out. We get a podium now, which is going to be great for the constructors. Lewis takes the lead in the drivers' standings with that victory. We smash Leclerc. And, oh, we're not actually up to level 14 yet. I thought we might have been after that. Got right to the end. Now, that's going to give us a bit of a boost in the drivers' standings. But after retiring in Miami, it's not actually going to give us that much. And up next, Monaco. So I can take the resource points, or I can take the driver acclaim. Resource points, please. Thank you very much. I will always take resource points over driver acclaim in a save like this. And as we head towards Monaco, the rotary speed has passed, so the engine's better. Now we just need the aero and chassis parts of the car to be better. Drag reduction, the DRS is in the way. Front downforce, rear downforce. I'm going to go for rear downforce with 1300. That'll be ready before Canada, which will be lovely. And then we'll get some more resource points in Monaco. With regards the driver's standings, I'm now P6 on 40 points. If I'd gotten something in Miami, I would probably have been P4. Maybe P3 ahead of Oscar. Currently, Lewis and Lando leading the way. And we are 3rd in the constructors with Aston Martin, as Lance is actually doing quite well with that podium. He got a P3 in Miami. I get a P2 here in Imola. And up next is Monaco. Pierre Gasly not scoring points in Imola. P13 only for him, so we close the gap dramatically there. Lewis has got 3 wins in the opening 5 Grand Prix, and then Lando and George getting the other 2. Monaco is... well, Monaco, as you well know, so we'll take that one with a pinch of salt, but it's always worth the watch, if only just to laugh at my misfortune. That's all for me. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully you enjoyed the Imola Grand Prix. Hopefully it was worth waiting for. I shall see you very soon for Monaco. I'm live all day today over on stream, on Twitch and YouTube, with a YouTube streaming channel with open lobbies on Formula 1 and then the Creator Series in Austria later on this evening. So do come and join me. If not, I'll see you on YouTube at some point soon. Bye-bye.